Okay, so here's part 2 of me reading Maria the Beautiful. One day after Maria walked by Timothy's cottage, she went to the market to buy some apples. She saw one fell on the ground. She was about to pick it up, but then she looked up and saw a note on the cottage door saying about a young soldier whose wealthy mother made him fight at war for England's rights. The soldier's mother was a widow like Maria's mother was. The soldier was his mother's most precious thing that she had possessed, and he was her only child because she cherished him dearly, and he was the same age as Maria. When the soldier was a young boy, his father died of a sudden heart attack. It had been 2 years since he had died, and the soldier had inherited his father's fortune. Maria remembered from her childhood that the richest mouse in England's husband had perished during the night when he was reading in bed. There was a poster that said "missing" underneath it because the soldier's mother had kept him cooped up in the mansion for a long time until one night he snuck out to explore the village and protect it. However, the soldier didn't want to marry until true love came around. His mother understood and let him take his time to find the most beautiful girl. Maria thought that the soldier looked a lot like her because he had blue eyes, a great thin body, and a pink nose. He also spoke in a slight British accent and black whiskers, but except he were a male, he wore a blue cape in sign of wealth, a brown belt, and he carried a metal sword in it for protection from enemies. The soldier will choose the most beautiful girl his heart desires, and she will become his bride. But he wouldn't want me. I'm just a scullery maid, said Maria as she read the notice. Then she began walking away, sadly wiping tears from her eyes as she began crying. Suddenly, Maria heard creaking coming from the cottage roofs. Maria thought that it was Timothy playing hide and seek with her along with his brothers and sisters, but she didn't think it was funny. Maria was frightened. She started to run until she ran into a dead end, which was an empty alley. The alley was very dark and scary. Then the creaking stopped. Maria came out from the dead end. Suddenly, someone jumped in front of Maria. It was the village bandit. He wore a black cape, a black hat, and a black mask. He has a British accent. The bandit had been madly in love with Maria since childhood. He had piercing red eyes that looked evil. His face would scrunch up if he were angry, and his body was thin and gray. When he was a baby, his mother was sentenced to the guillotine for robbing food markets for food to feed him, and the bandit was orphaned as a 14-year-old baby. The bandit was placed in a cruel workhouse with abusive people. The orphans didn't get any food, and the bandit was whipped and abused as a child like the other boys in the workhouse. Hello, my dear beloved Maria, said the bandit with an evil smile on his face. Maria was about to run away, but the village bandit grabbed Maria and covered her mouth when she was about to scream. Maria tried to pull his paws away from her mouth, but he was too strong. My lady Maria, marry me or I'll never let you go. I love you, said the bandit, but Maria didn't love him. She was trying to remove his paws from her mouth as she began stepping on the bandit's foot, but he still wouldn't release her. Meanwhile, the soldier was in the village. He was guarding the markets for the bandit, and so he wouldn't steal any food or money. Then his ears began to vibrate. He listened and heard Maria screaming bloody murder. Oh my, that fair young lady must be in terrible trouble. I'd better save her, and I'd better hurry quick. She sounds like she's being murdered or kidnapped, said the soldier. The soldier fell with a loud screaming and found the bandage his head as he spotted the soldier behind him. All right, you, who do you have with you? Asked the soldier as he crossed his arms and tapped his foot. And started tapping his foot. The village bandit, and it turned around, and the soldier saw that he was holding Maria captive. She was about to faint because her screaming was taking up all her breath. to beg mercy. "Take your paws off of that fair young lady," said the soldier as he angrily stared at the bandit. The village bandit was frightened by the soldier's angry expression. He let Maria go and he ran away. Maria inhaled a deep breath and then exhaled it out as she ever so gently touched her throat. Well, don't worry, my lady. I'll make sure that bandit won't try to harm you anymore," said the soldier as he slipped his sword into his belt. Maria kept her head turned until the bandit was gone. Maria turned around and stared at the young man who saved her life. "Wow," whispered the soldier as he watched Maria put a smile on her face that was so beautiful that everyone stared. The soldier stared at Maria, then smiled at her. He felt his heart melt. "She is so beautiful," whispered the soldier as he began to blush, the color of rosy red on his cheeks. Then the soldier walked up to Maria with a smile on his face. "What is your name, my fair lady?" asked the soldier as he took Maria's hand and kissed it for a polite greeting, and she smiled. "My name is Maria." "Maria, what a beautiful name. My name is Daniel," said the soldier as he politely introduced himself. "Do you have anywhere to go?" asked Daniel. "No, I have been living on the street since I left the orphanage, and that was 2 years ago." Then Daniel had thought about the bandit trying to harm Maria, and thought that the village was no longer safe for her. "Why don't you come home with me? I want you to meet my mother," said Daniel. "Would she like me?" asked Maria. "She'll love you, may I?" asked Daniel, as he stuck out his arm. "Thank you for saving my life," said Maria. "You're welcome, my dear Maria, and don't worry, if that bandit tries to harm you, just let me know and I'll be there," said Daniel. Maria smiled as she took Daniel's arm. They walked back to the manor. Maria thought that it looked beautiful. The walls were yellow and everything else on the house was white. Maria heard a surprised voice. It startled Maria and she hid behind a bush. Daniel was curious about what frightened her. It was Daniel's mother. She was skinny, gray, and had blue eyes and wore a green wrap. She was as tall as Maria. She watched Daniel's mother give a hug. "Mother, there's someone I want you to meet," said Daniel as he removed Maria from the bush. Well, what a lovely young lady," said his mother. "Thank you," said Maria. "Who is this young lady?" asked Daniel's mother. "This is Maria. She was in trouble and I saved her," said Daniel. "Hello there, young lady. We're so happy to have you in our home," said Daniel's mother. She gave Maria a big hug right after she walked in. Daniel took Maria down to his garden. The garden was filled with fragrant flowers like jasmines, roses, honeysuckles, and stargazer lilies. Maria spotted a tombstone behind the morning glories. "Whose tombstone is that?" asked Maria. "That's my father's. He died of a heart failure when I was a boy. You probably don't know what it's like to lose parents," said Daniel as a tear ran down his cheek. Maria suddenly remembered how it felt when she had lost both her parents. "I do. My mother died of a broken heart after giving birth to me because my father died after being wounded in the war and passed away 5 days prior to my birth," said Maria. "How awful," said Daniel as he gave Maria a hug. Then Daniel took Maria to a bench where two of them thought and stared at one another, and Daniel stared deeply into Maria's eyes. "Your eyes remind me of beautiful standing opals," said Daniel. "Thank you," said Maria. "I've never felt this happy before," said Daniel. "Neither have I," said Maria. Then Daniel and Maria both had their eyes closed as they were both about to kiss, but Daniel's mother came out with a bright candle that she had lit so that she could see in the dark and interrupted their moment when the light of the candle was so bright that it could cause them both to go blind. "It's time to come in. It's getting late. It's dangerous to be out in the dark," said Daniel's mother. Maria and Daniel followed behind. "I'll have the maid show you to your room," said Daniel. Don't worry, I'll lock your door so that you can be safe," said Daniel. Then Maria planted a kiss on Daniel's right cheek. "Thank you so much for bringing me here and protecting me," said Maria. Maria then held Daniel Daniel's hand and gave him a kiss on his cheek. Daniel's face turned red as he blushed, as he felt like he was walking on air as his heart began to beat fast. Then Daniel put his hand on his cheek. The next morning, Milo was wondering where Maria went off. Then he saw Robert and thought that he might have known where Maria went off. "Robert, have you seen Maria?" asked Milo. "No, not since the village girls were all making fun of her," said Robert. Milo thought that she might have gotten hurt. Suddenly, he saw Timothy, his mother, and his siblings on their morning walk. "Timothy, have you and your family seen Maria?" asked Milo. "Milo, didn't you hear the news? Maria went off and fell in love with a soldier who came to rescue her when she was in trouble with the village bandits," said Timothy. "I knew that girl would fall in love one day. Someday," said Milo as he picked up Timothy and gave him a big hug. "Please put me down, Milo," said Timothy. Milo gently placed Timothy on his feet as he went back inside. Timothy's siblings began to giggle because Milo hugged Timothy. Milo came back outside with a batch of snickerdoodle cookies that he had just baked in celebration of Maria falling in love. "Here are some free samples," said Milo. "Cookies," said Timothy as he and his 7 siblings all together. As they were filled with excitement as they began to grab cookies from the plate. Timothy's mother smiled at Milo. "Is the boy really in love with Maria?" asked Timothy's younger brother. "I don't know yet. Why?" asked Milo. "Because if she went off with him, it means that he must be in love with her," said Timothy's youngest brother. "Where did you hear that?" asked Milo. "We read that in the storybooks that if a girl goes off with a boy, then he must be in love with her," said Timothy. "Well, not exactly, Timothy. A girl will know that if a boy loves her if he kisses her," said Milo. "Oh, nobody told me that," said Timothy. "Mama, did the young man kiss Maria yet?" asked Timothy's younger brother. "I don't know. Maybe he's a little shy. Sometimes boys get a little nervous when they're trying to give their first kiss to a girl," said Timothy's mother. "Thank you," said Timothy as he and his family walked off with one cookie for each of them. Milo then ate one cookie. That was on the plate and saw that there was no more left. There was one more left. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here because it's getting long, so I will see you in part 3. Bye.